we're going to get started with some .025 lead wrap. I'm just going to do a couple of wraps to keep it up front. I'm going to do 5 wraps, then helicopter that lead off, wrap the back of it around until we get it nice and tight on there. Perfect. So I will grab some Danville's 140 in a light olive. And I'm just going to start that right there behind the eye. Create a little thread base. Nip off the extra. I'm going to adjust my hook just a little bit. And then we're going to use some dumbbell eyes in the black. And we're going to tie those right on top of the fly. I want to leave a little bit of room right in front. That looks good right there. And then I'm just going to take some wraps to secure these. Make sure they're not going anywhere. I'll come back behind my lead here. Build a little thread base, capture it. Just make sure everybody's not going to move on us. And then once I get those right on top there, I'm going to take a little bit of super glue, put it on the end of the bobbin, just a little bit, and then I'm just going to give it a little drop on top, kind of move it around all over the lead there, and this will just ensure that these eyes aren't going to move on us. Perfect. Now I'm going to take a couple more wraps around it, really secure everything, and then we'll work our way back. Now I'm going to adjust the fly again, and I'm going to put the bend of the hook more up in the air like that, because that's where we're going to start our material, is back here. And next I'm going to take my Caster's original Squirrmito material. I want to tie it in maybe about a 1/2 inch of it off the back, and I'm just going to take a loose wrap, then a couple tighter ones. That'll work. And then while it's standing up like that, I'll move forward a bit. And I'll just do this to help me capture the material. If you've never worked with this stuff before, it can be an absolute nightmare. So just prepare to let it have a mind of its own, and just work with it as best you can. So I'm just going to secure all this stuff up here towards the front of the hook, and then slowly and gently work my way back until we get it where we want it. I want it a little bit farther down on the bend of that hook there. I'm going to try and cover up as much of this Squirrmito stuff squishing through as I can. That looks good. Next we're going to grab our hare's eye stub in olive brown. We are just going to pull out a little clump of it and make ourselves a dubbing noodle. That looks good. And then I'm just going to start this back near that Squirrmito and use this to help it lay down just a little bit like that. And this is what we'll start building our body with. Okay, do a little bit. Adjust the hook here, move it more straight up. Do a little bit more. Move it to right about the thorax, if you will, of this fly. And again, we're going to just do another dubbing noodle. Twist our material on there. And bring it forward. Just like that. Perfect. Next, we're going to take some India hen and olive. And I'm going to tie it in from the tip here Put it right on top to capture it. Make a couple wraps. We're going to bring it right about to halfway between where we tied it in and the eye of the fly, or the eyes of the fly, I guess. Peel some of that fluffy material off there. And then I'm just going to slowly and gently start to wrap it forward. Trying not to capture any of the feathers, wrapping it in one wrap in front of another wrap until we get it laying where we want it. While I'm doing this, sometimes I'll take a brush and just kind of brush everything out. And we're going to keep going. Right about to there. I'm going to grab my thread, work it back, and then capture the stem here. Nip it off. Take a brush. We just want to make sure we can get all this brushed back. And I'm going to pinch it so I can do a couple wraps over it and really make sure it's nice and secure. Just like that. That looks good. And then we will grab our black rubber legs. And tie these on each side. I want these to be spaced out a bit. That looks good right there, and I'm going to trim these right about the same length as the hen that we just tied in, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And again, we're going to pull them apart, trim these the same length as that hackle we just tied in. That looks good. Okay, so next we're just going to pretty much repeat that process with the ice dub and the olive brown. We're just going to make another little noodle on here and work that up to the eye of the fly. Use that to lay it down just a little bit, create a little more body. And I'm just going to slowly build up somewhat of a taper towards the eye. That looks good right there. Then I'm going to grab another piece of that hackle. And this time we're going to leave the more fluffy, fuzzy feathers on there, as you can see down towards the thicker part of the stem here. And we're going to tie all those in this time. Again, I'm going to tie it from the tip of the feather. Just lay it right on top here. Secure it. Wrap back just a bit. And then separate the feather here so nothing gets caught. I will grab it with the hackle pliers. Slowly work my way around the front of this fly. Right up to about there, where we will wrap our thread around and get ready to capture this guy right behind the eyes here. Trim it out as close as we can. Again, I'm going to Brush everything out a little bit. Until we have it where we want it, and then put some more secure wraps in here. That looks good, and then we're going to repeat that process again with those rubber legs. Again, I'm going to tie it in right on the side, pull it apart a bit, trim it the same length as the hackle we just tied in. A bit shorter right there. Repeat that process for the other side. This is a great fly when you're fishing moving water. I've had a lot of success on this in rivers, especially in slower sections, but it'll get down fast and it has a very nice presentation when that water pushes it around a little bit. And then next we're going to do another dubbing noodle right behind the eyes here, and just use this to kind of finish out the fly and give it a little more bulk up towards the head here. And then I'll bring it to the front here for a whip finish. And we're going to put a hot head on this fly with the red thread. And we're just going to make some wraps up here in front of the eye. Give this fly a little bit something extra so that catches the fish's eye just a little bit more. And we'll take our whip finisher here. Get the brush, make sure we like how it looks. Really pull that dubbing out a little bit, give it more of a buggy look. And there you have it, the variation of the all-day breakfast from Bug Wild, tied with a few different materials, but it should get the job done just as well.